Hey everybody, this here's Mike at Hawk and Wolf Outfitters. Today we're on to part 6 of making a knife with Mike Ware, showing you the steps with some tips and tricks coming along. Today we're going to be taking those hunter-gatherers, and we're only going to show you one. I'm not going to do all 4 of them for you on the video, but we're going to take one of them and I'm going to show you the processes that I go through as I'm getting them ready to put the edge on before I put them on, what I do to get the scales set, and we'll probably go ahead and make some scales on this video or show you how I put them together. Now this one here, we're only going to show you just a common set of how I do it. The ones that I'll do later on, I'll show you some that are similar to this, or there's some, I got other ones that go sideways, and then you basically just become creative and crafty when you're out here, and you want to give somebody something that when they get to that bushcraft gathering or that outdoor event out there, they can say, wow, nobody else has one. You know, this is mine. And that's what I really enjoy doing, taking each one of these here and moving them. So without further ado, let's move over. Well, actually, we're going to go that way. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is our blank. You see all the black that's on it? We're going to get all that off. Now you could do that one of 2 ways. You can just hand sand it off if you like. You can take it down to a rougher finish if you like. I normally take an old worn out Scotch-Brite pad, knock off as much as I can, especially when it's going to be a flat grind, because I'm really not caring what this part down here looks like. It's going to be taken off. But I do want to get my top to be good. I don't want this backside right here to be so smooth like it is now. So by taking the Scotch-Brite and putting it on it, then we kind of roughen it up a little bit with it. Not a lot, but then we'll come back and hand sand this part here. So let's go over here to the grinder. All right, so here's a worn out maroon Scotch-Brite pad. Now this is the finish that I put on some of my knives permanently. I use a new one. Once they get worn out like this, they're probably around 400 and 600-ish. They say that they're 320, I believe, is what this one is, but it doesn't look like a 320 finish to me. It looks more like about a 120, but that's my story. And maybe they are 120 and I've just misread it. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to take this and clean it up. Now, since this is not going to be a hunting knife, I'm not so concerned that has a 90-degree spine right now, but I do like to get one on there just in case you are out there hunting and you need to strike the fair seal mod. So hang tight. I'm going to show you right here what we're doing. It's not a hard process. One thing I can tell you though, do not run this belt as fast as it'll go. You'll tear the belt up, you'll waste the belt, you won't get any. Generally about 1/4 of the speed, that your speed will go up to whatever RPMs that is, or however many turns or whatever. You want to make this thing run as slow but grind and take off. So I learned that the hard way. That's why I've got so many of these belts at $20 a pop. They're hanging everywhere in here, and I find some use out of them for something, because if I don't, that's just going to be a waste, because I learned the hard way. So let's go ahead and start grinding this here real quick. Right now we're running at about 1/4 speed. Now you've seen me take it and go this way with the magnet. We're not going to do that on this one here. I'm just going to be knocking off a lot of it back and forth, or back and forth across. We'll be getting all of these cleaned up, and it'll still look a little dullish, but when we get done with what the next process, you'll see. So let's just take it, just lightly pushing against it. You can see it's starting to clear off versus where it was. We're not getting all of it off. We're just eliminating some of that hand sanding. See, it's kind of changing, getting it closer. And that can do the same thing. And we just do the same process of cleaning it up. That way when we get ready to mark our line, which I don't mark them, but I'm going to show you how. After a while you learn that if both sides are the same, it's got to be in the center or it can't happen. But starting out, we do want you to be able to know how to do it so you can learn to judge it. Alright, we've got it cleaned up enough now to where we can cut our feet off, but we got it cleaned up now enough to where we can go ahead and go over and start the hand sanding. Another trick and tip, don't ever leave your belt just on it. It stretches the belt and it wears out your shocks. So another tip. Alright, I know you can't see my face, but that's okay. You'll live. First thing you want to do is get you some water and just put a smidgen of Dawn in it. After that, you're going to need a piece of flat metal. I've been using this thing here for about 6 years now and it's never failed me. Go ahead and give it a little stir and mix up your Dawn. Once you've got the Dawn mixed up, take this and wrap it right around your blade or your piece of metal. Now this is just a stock piece of metal from the hardware store. Slide this out of the way. You need something to clamp it down so you can go this way. You don't need to be up here in this area of this knife. Will go off a bit. You don't need to be up in here because the handles are going to come right around in through here. Your edge is going to be here, so you're really just focusing on this part up here. Again, you don't need to get all of that down there out because it's going to be a flat grind, and one of them will be a convex and one of them will be a hollow, and I'm not sure what I'll do on the third one or the fourth one. But anyway, once you've got that, take your sandpaper. It's a pretty easy process. Start out at 120 and you just keep going. Now you can polish this blade here 86, 70 like any other carbon steel will polish up as high as you want it to go and shine like new money. So once you've done that, get you a little paper towel, wipe off, and then eyeball it. You can see that I know that I still got some more to go. And it's not no huge process. But you don't want any lines going the opposite direction, which is scratches, marks, and things of that nature. And you will want to make sure that you kind of come down just a little bit because you don't know how far up you're actually going to go. I mean, that's just part of it. But now if this was a full polished blade, yeah, it's got to be every speck out of it. you can see, it's starting to get shinier. I can still see a few scratches in it here. If they're real deep, save yourself some time, drop down to 100. Don't just sit there and keep going over and over it. But I believe I'm gonna be able to get most of that in the grind, but I'm gonna get it a few more times. And then I'm gonna flip this thing over and show you. Here, let's just do it now. As you can see, there's still a few marks in it that are scratches. You want those out. You don't want them in it. So let's just clamp it down. You get these little things here at Harbor Freight for like $1.99 when they're on sale. I've got them all over the shop. I rotate them, move them, do all kinds of stuff with them, and just use them for everything. And even in the different one or another shop, it's going to be the same stuff with these little things because they're just that good for what you need them for. I use every bit of my sandpaper, edges and everything. It's going to be a little close right there. I may have to take this down to 100, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Then start over, come back to 120 and work my way back up to 400. It's starting to come on out. But I don't want any of those imperfections inside of it starting out. May have to go the other side. There we go. Now, some of these knives, when I make them, they only have a Mike Ware signatures because it's simple. And I can't always, most of the time if it's a custom, that's pretty much all I put on them. So we're gonna drop that down to 100 because that's got a pit in it, just a little one, but I don't want that in it. So as you can see, right in here, my handle, I'm not going to take a chance of having that sitting there, even though my grind is going to come right into here. I don't think it's going to get it. It's going to miss, and that thing's going to be in it. So we want to take that off. All right, guys, we've taken it all back up to 120. Next step's going to be about 180, 220, 320, 400. It's just back and forward motions. You can do the side to side, you can do this and that. Remember, we just got to get this part right up here about 1/4 of an inch that needs to be smoothed out on this particular style knife. If you are doing a knife that you're going to polish up, yes, go one way this way so that you know that you get all of them. But a lot of your polishes that we have now will take out minor scratches, nothing deep. If it's as deep as one of the grains on the 80 grit, you're not going to get it out. So you want to make sure you got them as smooth as possible. So let's take this on up to 220, and I'm checking it. That little piece right there, it came out just a smidgen left in it. I'm going to see what comes out of it with the other part of it because I don't want to make a divot right here, but we'll see when we're done. All right, we're at 180. I decided to go up this. It's not going to take very much on this at all. from each grain up. Sometimes is worth more than the money. You see we're starting to smooth it out. We're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to take this up to cut video short up to 220, and then I'll go 320 and then 400, and that's where I'm going to leave this blade here at, is at 400. So when it comes back, you'll see the finished product of hand sanding. Stick it around. All right. We're up to 400. Now remember what I said about we don't have to worry about anything that's going to be coming from right here up, because that's just going to be the only part we needed. But I like to go ahead and get as much out just in case I decide I'm changing it, because it makes a doo-doo in the middle of it. This here, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to it to give it that rough finish. It's quick, it's simple, so that when we put scales on, it'll stick. All right. We're gonna shave that, so we don't want to go past that. Have to go back and re-sand all of that, right? This belt right here, 36. See how slow it's going? I don't want to grab it. It's my stop. All I'm gonna do, and it makes it hard to do at a low rate of speed, but it's the lazy man's way. And there we go. Now she's roughed up, and I didn't have to put a whole lot of work on it. Guys, there you have it. That's just the beginning. It lets me go ahead and allow to where to put my scales, and then I can wipe it down with some more acetone, and then we'll come back and put a grind and stuff in it after we get the scales on this particular one here, where some of them I do. But hollow grinds, you really don't want that blade really sharp whenever you get around there to start doing other things like grinding the handles, and it's a small blade, so this is one that we'll do freehand and put it on with a hollow grind. Guys, I want to say thank you again for watching, all the support. The actual view count is not huge on these videos, but the actual watch time is way up. And I'd rather make videos for less people that have the enjoyment of watching what I do. So guys, if you're not hitting that subscribe button yet, and you like what you see, go ahead and do it. There'll be some more content. Hit the notifications bell also. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you here in just a little while.